the spirit in 2 words, it would be recreation and sport. Today, Denver sports fans are watching gymnastics, competing are Lance Reno, an '88 Olympic finalist. Brandy Johnson, the top all-around performer for the USA in Seoul at those same Olympic Games. And Patrick Kirksey, he's the 1989 Big 8 all-around champion. For the women, it'll be Wendy Bruce, winner of the 1989 mixed pairs, along with partner Li Jing. And Conrad Borsinger, the 1989 Pac-10 all-around champion. Today we have a tournament meet coming up featuring Marna Neubauer challenging Kelly Pitzen for the women. And on the men's side, Mihai Bagiu against Patrick Kirksey. Kirksey is a 12-year veteran of the sport. He has climbed from the Junior Olympic National Championships to Big 8 champion in just 3 years. Patrick Kirksey and the other gymnasts will continue their bid for #1 right here in Denver, Colorado. The Total Sports Network, and the United States Gymnastics Federation present the 1989 U.S. Challenge. Today, it is show number 6. Today's telecast will feature Marna Neubauer against Kelly Pitzen. And on the men's side, it'll be Mihai Bagiu against Patrick Kirksey. We're inside the Denver Coliseum. 10 events are waiting for you in this final round of the first rotation of our gymnastics tournament. Hello, everyone. I'm Leandra Riley, and it's a tournament-style competition that's in store for you. Let's take a look at the brackets. First, on the women's side. Again, this is our final first-round matchup. Marna Neubauer going up against Kelly Pitzen. They're waiting for the opportunity to compete against Wendy Bruce in the second round. On the men's side, again, the final bracket of our first round, it is Mihai Bagiu against Patrick Kirksey. They're waiting for the opportunity to go up against Mike Williams. And without any further ado, let me introduce our Olympic gold medalist, expert analyst, Bart Connor. And Bart, let's first talk about the men. Patrick Kirksey, Mihai Bagiu. Kirksey is strong and just getting stronger.
He looks really good, and it's really interesting to see because you see it with a lot of great gymnasts. I saw it when Kurt Thomas caught fire. I saw it when Jim Hartung caught fire. You can just see the attitude change when they know that they're significant champions and they want to be a part of the U.S. team. That's happened to Patrick Kirksey in the last 6 or 8 months with his performance in the American Cup. He had a good experience there, and he is really looking hot.
On the women's side, it's Kelly Pitzen against Marna Neubauer. I think this one's going to be a pretty close matchup.
This will be an interesting battle because they're both junior gymnasts from 2 very strong programs. Kelly is from Caroli's Gymnastics Elite, of course, down in Houston, Texas, and the Great American Gymnastics Express is where Marna's from, and those are 2 very strong programs in the U.S. for developmental gymnasts.
All right, the final slot's about to be filled for both the men and the women. When we come back, it'll be men's gymnastics followed by the women and our final first-round pairing. The rules for the 1989 U.S. Challenge state that all gymnasts must compete in the all-around format. That means for the men, they compete on 6 apparatus, while the women compete on 4. So we will begin with the men's competition on the floor exercise, just as they do in the Olympic Games. And you are looking at the smiling face of one Mihai Bagiu. He is 17 years old, an up-and-comer, currently resides in Orange, California, but was born in Romania.
Please welcome Mihai Bagiu.
It's a real interesting story. He's been over here 9 years, and just in January, he had a hairline fracture on his ankle after doing a triple backflip off the high bar, so you can see he's wearing a pretty significant brace on his left ankle, and he's only been out of a cast for 8 weeks. This is a nice combination. He presses through a high V, through to a straddle press handstand. 1 1/4. Oops. Looked like he forgot where he was going right there. He's doing flares. Tried to get it up to a handstand, but had a lot of trouble on that. You can see his tumbling is very weak because of that ankle problem. He said coming into this event that on floor and vaulting he was going to have trouble because he's not back to full strength. We'll see him in his better events later, in particular the pommel horse, where he's excellent. His last tumbling run, round off back handspring layout, a very, very weak tumbling exercise. But as you can see, he's having plenty of trouble with that ankle.
I think you bring out a good point about him being back just 8 weeks. He is not just getting over the pain and the discomfort, but the muscle atrophy after 8 weeks of being in a cast.
He opened with a tuck double back, and I think he gave his all on that. And of course, by the time he got to the last tumbling run, not only was he fatigued, but I'm sure that his body wasn't interested in any more punishment at this stage of the game. We'll see him on the apparatus later on.
His score, 8.25, which must place a sigh of relief in the lungs of one Patrick Kirksey, because Patrick Kirksey follows Mihai on the floor exercise event.
Patrick is coming off a really significant competition in the American Cup this past year. He was third in the all-around against a very strong international field, and he has really been coming into his own in the last 6 or 8 months. Beautiful, full in, tuck back, clean in the air. Good front tumbling, due to a front with a full.
Now he's 5 feet 10 inches tall, by far our tallest gymnast in this competition.
And 165 pounds. He's a pretty good sized guy. You find if you take the average height and weight of the top 200 or 300 gymnasts in the world, it comes out to about 5'6" and about 135 pounds. So he's carrying about 30 more pounds than the typical gymnast. You can see he's very bulky, but it certainly hasn't affected his flexibility or his ability to move. He's very powerful.
I'm amazed at his front tumbling capabilities. Usually when you have that much length, it's very hard to do the somersaults, especially on floor.
He has everything. He's so quick on the takeoff. Generally, the bigger guys are a little more sluggish on the takeoff. And look at that. Nice, high, tough double. And a perfect landing.
Patrick Kirksey at 5'10", wows him here at the Denver Coliseum. A fine performance on the floor exercise.
This is his opening tumbling run. Round off back handspring, full in. Look at the form. He doesn't even grab his knees. An open tucked full in, which shows incredible strength and power in the takeoff to be able to maintain that kind of rotation. He continued through front tumbling, front step out through the front handspring, front flip-flop, and a front flip with a full twist. And his final tumbling run was excellent. Nice high reach, tuck double back, and no problem there. That's what you call sticking a landing.
The judges were very impressed with his performance. The man who hails from Atlanta, Georgia, received a 9.75 to take the lead after one rotation in the U.S. Challenge. And standings after one rotation, it is a 1.5 lead for Patrick Kirksey over Mihai Bagiu, 9.75 to 8.25. Now let's move along to the women's vaulting competition. Introducing you to Marna Neubauer, who will be our first vaulter as you look at Coach Al Fong. She'll be going up against Kelly Pitzen. Now Marna Neubauer is just 14 years old, but at 5 feet 4 inches tall, she is one of the tallest gymnasts in this U.S. Challenge.
She's going to do a Yurchenko laid out. Nicely done.
She competes for the Great American Gymnastics Express. There you see her coach, Al Fong, currently in 9th grade.
Round off onto the board. Good reach to the horse. Straight body position. She was a little short. I think she'll try and maybe just power it a little bit more. She sort of underdid this vault. Looks pretty good right into here, but she could be just a little more aggressive. I'm sure it takes a long time to get confident on this style of vault because you are going back into the horse. And it's a little scary, to tell you the truth. And when she perfects the technique, she'll be able to be a little more aggressive.
You saw the score, 9.35 for the first.
That's a better one, sure. You can tell right from the start she had a little more power, a little more speed, and more aggressive into the horse.
It is the better of the two vaults that will count towards her all-around total, and probably the second.
Yeah, you can see right here, good block, nice tight position, much better rotation, and of course that makes the landing very easy.
She just looks stronger, more powerful in the upper body on this one. You can actually see the height coming off the horse. 9.35 is the first vault score. Her second vault obviously better, and the judges agreed. 9.575, the score for Marna Neubauer on the vault. And this young lady is 4'10" Kelly Pitzen. She was born in Toledo, Ohio. Her family currently resides in Hudson, Michigan, but she is training in Houston, Texas.
That's pretty typical for a lot of the gymnasts. Born in one town, live in another, and train in another.
In the third.
Interesting to note here, she was 12th as a junior in the junior nationals last year and competing against Marna Neubauer, who was 10th last year. So these will be two junior competitors for some time to come. She almost completely missed the horse on the approach on that Yurchenko vault, and she handled it.
Coached by Rick Newman and Curly Gymnastics.
Watch what she does here. She's going to do the round off onto the board. She reaches back, and look what happened. Watch her hands. Her hands slip off the backside of the horse,
Which is in Allentown, Pennsylvania.
and she almost didn't make that around, but she was very tough
Is that clear?
to pull the vault around. You can see, watch the hand position right there. Her hands almost off the backside of the horse. But she knew exactly what she's doing. She's obviously had really strong progressions and background, because she knew when she didn't get a good solid push to pike in and pull the rotation around to keep it safe and to keep it successful.
Spotting her is Rick Newman of Kirksey Gymnastics, which is where Kelly Pitzen competes. Correction, that's John Holman who's spotting her from Parkettes, who's helping out. Her coach is Rick Newman from Kirksey Gymnastics.
Yeah, John's just helping out. The Caroli clan didn't make it up here this time. Neither Bella nor Rick made it to this competition, so they've asked John to help out in the meantime.
8.70.
Score for the first vault is 8.70. Of course, the luxury she has is that it is the higher of the two vaults that will count, so she starts with a clean slate in essence as she does her second vault.
She is one tough little girl, because that time she got one hand on with a good solid push and the other completely slipped off, and she did a great job at maintaining control. Watch her hand position on here. One of them gets on pretty good. Looks like her left hand gets a decent push and her right hand slips off.
Oh.
She's one tough little girl, because she didn't panic and she pulled it around beautifully. Watch the hand position here. Left is on and the right's going to slip right off the backside of the horse, and she still makes that vault.
Maybe she should change it to a one-handed vault, because that's in essence what she did.
Then give her a 10. That's hard.
Yes. 9.1, the score for the second vault. That is the standard that will count. And there's been a correction on Marna Neubauer's score, 9.525. So she has the lead after vaulting over Kelly Pitzen, 9.525 versus 9.10. The men move now to their second rotation, and that is the pommel horse. Up first will be Patrick Kirksey, followed by Mihai Bagiu.
Last December, Patrick was third in the all-around in the Winter Nationals in Colorado Springs. That's the re-ranking of the national team. Now they do it twice a year, not just at the national championships, but they also have a Winter Nationals to re-rank the national team. This is his favorite event. Boy, this is nice work. Look at the smooth line. Good rhythm. It's not too fast, as we've seen. He's not rushing. He's doing plenty of difficulty. Single leg scissors. It's a requirement. It's down to the end. A really nice handstand pirouette off. That's a clean routine. Smooth, and he looked always in control. We haven't seen a lot of that here at this competition. We've seen a lot of people have trouble on the pommel horse.
And Patrick Kirksey currently owns a 1.5 advantage over Mihai Bagiu. It might grow with this performance.
You can see why he was fourth in the pommel horse event at the NCAA championships a couple of years ago, because he has good, clean lines. A lot of difficulty, and he never seemed to panic. He was always in control.
On the floor exercise event, Patrick Kirksey received a 9.75. Let's see what his score is now for the pommel horse. I believe it was announced at a 9.65 for Patrick Kirksey. These are not the kind of numbers that Mihai Bagiu needs to hear. He'd like to hear those after his name. After floor exercise, Mihai Bagiu received an 8.25. Let's hope he can rally here.
He says this is his favorite event and his best event. Beautiful work. Good straight body position as he travels all the way across the horse without using the pommels. And he travels back up into the middle with the pommels. Oh! God, it was going beautifully, too. He was doing a move called a pommel Russian as he was going to travel to the end. I really don't know what happened. Looked like he was leaning back a little bit. Let's see what happens. A pommel Russian right here. Oh, his hand just slipped. It looked like he just slipped off his palm. And of course, when you lose, you're only supporting on one hand at a time, you lose that grip and you're in trouble. Kind of a fluky mistake, actually, because he was doing very well to that point. Good toe point, nice high single leg work. Notice the extension on the scissors. It's good work. Picks back up into the flares. Those are very impressive. Without the pommel, he travels to the end. This is tough stuff.
Nice finish. I like his haircut. He reminds me of a composer. Mihai Bagiu, just 17 years old.
This is a beautiful dismount. Watch, he's on the pommels. Now watch what he's going to do. He goes down without the pommels, takes tremendous elevation above the horse, makes his way down to the end, right up to the handstand, and pirouettes off. A big finish.
Too bad he had that bobble in the beginning. That was really a very nice routine.
Yep, he had plenty of difficulty, good line, good extension. He was going for a good score.
Although when you see a gymnast this young doing those kind of moves, you know the future looks very bright. The score from Mihai Bagiu, 8.85. After 2 rotations, he trails Patrick Kirksey. Welcome back to Denver, Colorado. I'm Leandra Riley, along with Bart Connor. The 1989 U.S. Gymnastics Challenges 6th show is underway, where we have Marna Neubauer against Kelly Pitzen, and right now by a .425 margin, it is Neubauer in the lead after 1 rotation. The men have competed twice already. Patrick Kirksey out in front by a comfortable 2.30 margin. And right now, the men are moving to the still rings. The women will compete on the uneven parallel bars, but right now it is Mihai Bagiu who is up on rings.
Lifting Mihai to the rings is Ron Howard, his coach at the SCATS program down in Huntington Beach, California. The SCATS, of course, have a world-famous women's gymnastic program. They just 3 years ago got into young boys gymnastics, and they say they have 600 boys involved in their program already. So boys gymnastics in Southern California is really taking off. Yeah, I had some trouble there on the opening skill.
Did he hold that L long enough?
No, he's just really hacking through this routine. He needs to hold these positions. The handstand there is good, but the strength moves weren't even close. Tuck double back dismount. Pretty weak routine.
As a teenager develops in men's gymnastics, how easy are the rings for a gymnast to get those strength moves?
Well, there's no question the rings is one of the most difficult events for young people to learn because it takes a tremendous amount of strength. You can see here he's supposed to lower down and power down, and he can't even control that as he lowers to the L, but he does do a good job with the swing elements. But of course, a tuck double back dismount is not the level of difficulty that you expect to see in a competition like this.
Mihai Bagiu, again, just 17 years of age. And although he's been in this sport since he was 5 years old, it's very different for boys in this sport. They have to wait for their bodies to mature in order to do some of the difficult elements. His score, 7.85. And the gap just widens between himself and Patrick Kirksey. Patrick Kirksey, on the other hand, his opponent, is 20 years of age. Physically, he's a little bit more mature, and of course, he has had the opportunity to compete in the college ranks, which gives him a lot of experience. In fact, the man lifting him up to the rings is his college coach, Francis Allen.
Certainly Patrick is on his way to becoming one of the great American gymnasts. He's a really level-headed kid. He's very committed to his training and his preparation. Nice sequence of strength elements, front lever and a kick to a cross. Wow, cast right to 2 Yamawakis in a row to a back upright straddle L.
And so little movement in the rings.
Look at how his arms are locked out. It's important to maintain control on the rings to really keep a good locked out arm position. Nice dismount. Tucked, full twisting double back. Good job.
Great dismount by Patrick Kirksey. 12 years in the sport, began at age 8, and now he is 20 and enjoying a very successful career at Nebraska, where he finished first in the Big 8 meet.
This is a really hard combination. From a cast, he goes right to this double whippet or Yamawaki, 2 in a row, both in the pike position. That takes great strength as well as swing.
And I don't care what you say, when you are as tall as he is at 5'10", doing those L positions, that's tough.
And look at how cleanly he performs this dismount. Good tuck position, nice clean fall, and a perfect landing. What a talent.
And the score for Patrick Kirksey on the still rings, quite a bit better than what Mihai Bagiu received. 9.60. Bagiu received a 7.85. Again, the gap increases. Now we are moving, however, to the women's side of this 6th matchup. This is Kelly Pitzen. Again, she is head-to-head with Marna Neubauer. Less than half a point separates these two gymnasts.
Straddle over, right to the high bar. Straddle back to the low bar. There's a transition. Giant swing. That move's called a ginger. It's a back flip with a half twist to a regrasp. Once again, she went down to the low bar to fulfill that requirement, and she slings a tuck double back off for a dismount.
What a tough little competitor, just 13 years old. This is great experience for her.
Here she does a giant swing. She almost stopped it on the top. It's a back flip with a half twist in the pike position to a regrasp, half turn over, and glide on the low bar. Remember, they can't do all their elements on the high bar or all the elements on the low bar. They have to show the judges elements on both. Then she kind of slung this tuck double off. It wasn't as high as she'd like it to be, but she pulled it around just right. She's going to be a good little gymnast.
4 feet 10 inches tall, only 86 pounds. Marna Neubauer, in the earlier rotations, managed to take a .425 lead over Kelly Pitzen. Her score for that performance, 9.525.
Next up on uneven bars from Great American Gymnastics Express, Marna Neubauer.
Well, this is Marna's favorite event, the uneven bars. Little trouble there on that opening skill. I think she was supposed to go over rather than come back. She made a good cover up. There's her reverse hecht. Straddle back to a handstand, to a toe on toe off on the low bar. That's a good combination. It's more than just a token trip to the low bar to show the judges that you can work down there as well. She did some good elements on the low bar. Good giant swings and a tuck double back.
That is her favorite apparatus. Again, Marna had a .425 lead going into this rotation.
Let's watch the reverse hecht. Watch what happens here. You're going backwards and then you pull, reverse straddle back over the bar. Very nicely done. This is a straddle back to handstand on the low bar, and then she continues with a toe on toe off handstand on the low bar. Really nice transitional combination.
Nice leg extension.
This is the dismount here. She straddles down, giant swing. And again. And a real nice tuck double back.
Happy face for a good job. Again, Kelly Pitzen's score was 9.525. We were waiting for the numbers on Marna Neubauer. And the official score we're given is 9.25. So Kelly Pitzen has defeated Marna Neubauer on the unevens, but Marna Neubauer still has a lead after 2 rotations. Waypoint trails Patrick Kirksey by a 4.05 margin. On the women's side of the competition, it's a little bit closer story between Marna Neubauer and Kelly Pitzen. Just 0.15 separates these two, with the advantage going to Neubauer. The women are about to compete on the balance beam. That is their 3rd of 4 events. The men will compete on vault for their 4th of 6 events. And you are looking at Marna Neubauer at the 1988 U.S. National Championships. She finished 4th on vault. Let's see how she does on beam tonight.
That was a round-off layout on. Of course, that 4th place on vault at last year's Nationals was in the junior division. She still is ranked as a junior national team member, but she'll be soon stepping into the ranks of the senior national team. Front handspring.
We talk about style in gymnastics, and we've seen the power style of Mary Lou Retton, and this is a very different style. It's almost light and bird-like. She is very light on her feet. Feet 4 inches tall, and the long lines look good up there.
Handspring, back handspring, layout to a full. That's a great combination. To tell you the truth, there wasn't a lot of difficulty in the exercise. She did a good swing through layout. She had a good mount. But I was waiting to see some tricks, and she packed them all into the last run.
And talk about putting your eggs all in one basket. If one setup misses, there goes the dismount.
Yeah, this is some risky stuff in terms of making mistakes in competition. Flip-flop, layout, and then a full. That's really difficult stuff, to do 4 elements right in a row, all of them being perfectly in line.
Marna Neubauer attends St. Mary's High School, where she is a freshman. Well, I guess with it being summer, I guess we could technically call her a sophomore. She'll be starting her sophomore year in September.
Score for Marna Neubauer's routine is 9.
And now we are ready for her score. It is a 9.45. A nice number for Marna Neubauer. Kelly Pitzen, 4 feet 10 inches tall, is up next.
It's interesting to note on that graphic that it also says she was 4th in the junior divisions in vaulting. She tied, actually, and she tied with the girl she's competing with here, Marna Neubauer. Okay, here's her acro series. You can see she's setting up. Back handspring, layout. Whoa.
We've seen a lot of woes in this meet, too. So named for that famous gymnast Woe, who fell off the beam and saved it.
One-handed back handspring, that's nice.
Nice black flexibility.
Sort of reminds you of Christy Phillips, who was pretty well known for her contortion-like back flexibility on balance beam. Split leap. Swing through layout. A little bobble there. She's still very young. She doesn't have the fluid movement that you see from some of the more mature competitors here. But she'll develop into that, and the grace and the style. But for right now, she's got plenty of difficulty. Nice clean round off double fair.
It's like all of the parts are there, but the whole isn't quite put together just right yet. And again, that's the youth factor.
Let's take a look at the dismount. She does a round off to a back with a double full. She does it really easily, actually. Drops right out of that. I'm sure she can do more there, even a triple full or perhaps a tuck double back. But once again, round off, rebound with both feet. Clean form. Nice job on a double full.
Kelly Pitzen, the score she wants to beat is 9.45. If she can't beat it, she'd like to stay as close as possible as she talks with John Holman. The score we've been given is 9.10. So she is close to Marna Neubauer, but still hasn't been able to gain any ground on her with one rotation remaining for the women.
Pat Kirksey.
Now the men have stepped over to the vaulting runway. Patrick Kirksey is up first. He only is allowed one vault.
1986, he was the junior Olympic all-around champion, so we've known that he's been a promising young gymnast for a long time. Now that he's 20 years old, he's really putting it together. He's strong, he's quick, he's very confident. Nice job on a Kasamatsu vault in a laid-out position.
In this meet, this young man has not made many mistakes.
He is very solid right now. You can see he round-offs on. Tries to keep his body as straight as possible in the air. One short step on the landing, but really a good clean vault. Once again, let's note the form, because I think that's the best part of this vault. Legs together on the pre-flight, which is very difficult to do on a round-off. Good clean form in the air.
And the score for Pat Kirksey's vault was
Pat Kirksey received a 9.50 for his vault. Mihai Bagiu, who trails by 4.05, is up next.
Mihai Bagiu, vaulting.
This Romanian-born gymnast now resides in Orange, California.
Let's see how his ankle holds up here on the vault. He's been having a really rough day. Okay.
You can see on the run.
Oh, yeah, he just doesn't have the power. He watered down there a vault. It's a handspring with a full twist. Certainly not the level of difficulty that you'd like to see in a competition like this, but under the circumstances with the ankle problems that he's coming off of, it's understandable that he wasn't interested in hurting himself here. Front handspring with a full twist, way over rotated it. I'm sure he hasn't done that in a long time, because his vault is obviously more difficult than that, but he had to pull something out of the bag to use in today's competition. That, by the way, will be the compulsory vault in the '92 Olympics in Barcelona.
8.6 the score for Bagiu. He still trails Patrick Kirksey by a bunch with 2 events remaining. Leads Kelly Pitzen as they head into their final rotation. Only 0.5 separates the 2 gymnasts. On the men's side, it's Mihai Bagiu trailing by almost 5 full points to Patrick Kirksey. Technically, it's 4.95 as they move into the parallel bars competition with the horizontal bar yet to come.
Once again, Mihai Bagiu.
I really feel sorry for Mihai, because although I can see that he has qualities to be a really fine gymnast, he's grossly undertrained and unprepared for this competition. Let's see if he can get through this parallel bar routine. He's had a really awful day to this point. Beach handstand, good start. Run up rise. Swing to handstand, having a lot of trouble. Healy twirl, 2 in a row. It's unfortunate because you can see that he has the basic elements to do well. He knows the tricks. He's just completely out of shape. There's no conditioning, and of course, his body isn't responding when he's calling it to.
Frustrating day for Mihai Bagiu.
We mentioned earlier, of course, that he had a really serious ankle injury, and he is recovering from that. Although, you know, that should really only affect his floor exercise and vaulting, because he could have been spending a good deal of time on the apparatus and improving these skills. Once again, he knows all the tricks. There's no question that he has good experience in gymnastics, but he knows that he's just not there physically at this time. You can see he's having trouble finding the handstand positions. He's really not solid, and his body isn't at all tight. And, of course, you can't get away with the big tricks like that Diamondov if you can't control the basic body positions. There's a tuck double back, a lot of cowboy. But once again, he knows the gymnastic skills. He's just not in good shape.
And the score for that parallel bar routine, 7.90. Patrick Kirksey is up next on the parallel bars. At the 1987 Olympic Sports Festival, televised here on ESPN. That's the one that came from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Patrick Kirksey finished 5th in the all-around. That was 2 years ago. He's come a long way since then.
Certainly in contrast to Mihai Bagiu, Patrick Kirksey taking his participation in this event a little more seriously. And I think Patrick has a lot to contribute to the U.S. national team because he's very solid. He's very strong mentally. I think he would be a great leadoff man or an early performer for the national team when they go to next year's World Championships or the Olympics in '92. He's really solid, and I think the rest of his teammates could count on him to come through as an opening round performer and set up for guys like Lance Ringgold and Charles Lakes and Kevin Davis. Back toss, nice. Good rhythm. Finds the handstand positions. Beautiful combination here. 2 Heelys in a row. Diamondov, see, he's doing tremendous level of difficulty, and yet he's just blasting through. Doesn't seem like any of the skills are particularly hard for him.
He sure does make
Very
it look
confident.
easy.
And that's the trick. The great gymnasts make it look easy. Boy, and a great pike double back. That's a nice exercise for Patrick Kirksey.
Fine performance by the young man who was first in the all-around competition at the Big 8 Championships. And it's funny, when you talk to Patrick about that, he'll tell you that 87% of our team hit on their routines. And that's the best, he said, we've done all season long at those Big 8 Championships. Always the team thought there.
Well, he's coming from a pretty strong team. That Nebraska program has been strong for 10 years. One of the most dominant programs in collegiate gymnastics. As you can see, does 2 really nice back tosses back to back. Here's the pike double back. Really fast swing, good position in the air. Notice the really tight form. Actually overdid it a little bit.
9.80 the score for Patrick Kirksey. The record in this meet is 9.85. It is held by Phil Cahoy. He set that back in 1982. So Patrick Kirksey came very close. Maybe it's a standard he'll break in the next rounds. We move now to the final rotation for the women. That is floor exercise. Kelly Pitzen is up. She trails by just half a point. This is very close between herself and Marna Neubauer. She needs to hit all of her tumblers.
Good pike double back.
Nice.
Handspring with a full twist. That's one way of just backing up into the corner to set up for the next tumbling run.
Just get there.
Just get there. Front step out through to a tuck double. For a lot of the younger girls, of course, the emphasis at the beginning stages of gymnastics is on the acrobatics. I'm learning the tumbling skills. I'm learning the technique. She'll develop into being a fine dancer, I'm sure. But at this point, you can see that her coaches, in particular Rick Newman and Bella Caroli down in Houston, have really stressed the tumbling, trying to get her stronger, and trying to develop her tumbling technique.
Sometimes I don't think it's just the gymnast who's a little inhibited to dance. She feels funny dancing. It just doesn't. It does the just get theirs to the corner. Good finish for Kelly Pitzen. Marna Neubauer is going to have a tough go of it.
This is a pretty good job here on the opening run. Round off back handspring to a pike double back. Good height. Of course, she's only 4'10", so it doesn't take a whole lot of height to have good height. The judges are looking for tumbling that is head height at least, and she does a good job at getting at least 4 feet 10 in the air. Her second pass was the front through to the double full, and of course, here's her last tumbling run. Round off back handspring, double full, nice and clean. Good job.
And she is waiting for her score on floor exercise. It is a 9.15 for Kelly Pitzen. She finishes strongly, and now Marna Neubauer, who has a 0.5 advantage, must really hit all of her tumbling if she's to eliminate Kelly Pitzen. Again, she is 5 feet 4 inches tall. 6-inch difference in height. She needs an 8.75. She cannot afford to fall.
Back handspring tuck double. Nice job. Plenty of room to spare. Fulfilled the Gymnastics series. 2 leaps to a full turn. Second run, handspring, front flip-flop, front with a full to a cartwheel. Great routine, shows a well-rounded exercise of good dance elements, good tumbling, both forward and backward tumbling, and she showed a good double back for the opening run, and her second tumbling run was primarily front tumbling, ending with a front with a full. Here's her third run, ground up back handspring, double full, no problem.
Again, all she needs is an 8.75, and I'm sure she'll get that.
Here's the opening run. It's a tuck double back. Watch the takeoff. Good reach. Good pull. She grabs behind her thighs to pull her knees around and increase the rotation. The second run, here's the front tumbling. Front handspring, front flip-flop, to a front flip with a full twist through to a cartwheel. And her last tumbling run, of course, is the laid out backflip with 2 twists. We call it a double full. Nothing to it.
And we would like to thank our judges for
And that concludes the women's competition here in this 6th matchup. Her score is 9.55. Marna Neubauer has eliminated Kelly Pitzen from advancing in this U.S. Challenge. The 1989 U.S. Challenge will show Marna Neubauer surviving to compete yet another day. Her future challenger will be Wendy Bruce. That is because Marna Neubauer has defeated Kelly Pitzen. You see the final numbers before you. 37.775 versus 36.875. But it is not yet over for the men. Mihai Bagiu against Patrick Kirksey. Although Patrick Kirksey I guess he just doesn't have to show up for this last rotation if he wants to lose. He's ahead by 6.85 over Bagiu. Kirksey is up first. And all he has to do is probably 3 or 4 elements, and this rotation is his.
Patrick has really been impressive in the last 6 or 8 months. I really think that he's gotten his confidence down. He's always been a solid gymnast with all the necessary elements. He's strong and he's quick. He can do the big tricks. But now he seems so confident, and he seems so together, and he seems like he's on his game. Let's see if he can handle his high bar routine, which is packed with difficulty. Here's his first release, reverse hect. To another one. Good job. We saw him at the American Cup early this year where he took 3rd in the all-around, and he only used 1 of those reverse hecks. You can see he realizes in order to really challenge on an international scale, you have to do at least 2 big-time release moves, and he's showing that here today. This is a great routine. Let's see if he can make this triple. There it is. Wow.
Oh, nice.
Really impressive young man.
Some interesting applause from the crowd.
Here's the release moves. Reverse hecht. He catches right where he wants to be, taps to a beautiful giant swing, and sets up the next reverse hecht. This is the kind of sequence you have to show in order to be a contender internationally. What can you say about this triple? This is really excellent. Good height, good rotation. Look at him, he finishes it way up there and just drops for the landing.
And the score was a surprisingly low 9.40. Why do you think that happened, Bart?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't get that at all. Should have been at least a 9.6 or 7. I don't get that one at all. Did we miss something, Leandra?
Evidently, we must have. I thought that routine was a lot higher than that. Now Mihai Bagiu.
Pirouette to a stalder. Good start. One-arm giant swing. Another one-arm to a ginger. Good job. So far, this is his best event of the meet. He looks pretty good here. You can tell he's still a little loose. He's not finding all the positions just right, but this is good so far. Good inverts, stalder. Here's his dismount tuck double. Of course, once again, problems on the landing because of that ankle injury. But it's really good to see that he put together a pretty nice routine on the high bar today. A good way to finish a pretty awful day otherwise.
Showed his potential.
He usually does a triple back actually for a dismount, but you can see on this release move, he does a one-arm to a ginger, and he handles that beautifully. On the dismount, once again, he broke his ankle doing a triple back. Here he's only doing a tuck double today, and you can see he's really not comfortable yet with the landings. When he gets in good shape, he's going to be a fine gymnast.
Mihai Bagiu got an 8.85 for that high bar routine, and the crowd didn't like that either. So some low scores for the horizontal bar, but it makes no difference on the final outcome because Patrick Kirksey has eliminated Mihai Bagiu and will survive to compete in another challenge. 1989 U.S. Challenge is now complete. Patrick Kirksey dominated from start to finish over Mihai Bagiu, his all-around total 57.7. On the women's side, it was Marna Neubauer against Kelly Pitzen. Kelly did manage to win the uneven parallel bars matchup, but in the all-around totals, Marna Neubauer won by 9/10 of a point. The winners are now with Bart Connor.
Congratulations, Patrick and Marna, for moving on to the next round. You seem to have a really good time on the floor today. Did you know you had it won at that point?
Yeah, pretty much, because I had hit most of my mints pretty good, and so I was pretty confident.
Best of luck to you in the next round. And Patrick, you seem to really be coming into your own now. You look confident, you look strong, you look really together on the competition floor.
Well, thank you. In the past couple of big meets that I've been in, I've managed to go out and hit all of my routines, and that's really a confidence booster when you're going into your next big meet.
Well, best of luck to you in the next rounds. Congratulations. Leandra?
And fortunately, we will have an opportunity to see both Marna Neubauer and Patrick Kirksey again. Bart and I will be back in just a moment with a recap. Stay with us. 89 U.S. Gymnastics Challenge is now complete. Marna Neubauer has defeated Kelly Pitzen. She has survived to go up against Wendy Bruce in the second round. On the men's side, it was Patrick Kirksey dominating Mihai Bagiu. He will now face Mike Williams in the second round of this challenge.
Kirksey looked very good in his win here, and of course he's a fine gymnast because he has all the necessary qualities to be a really great American star in the future.
I'd like to remind you that the second round of this U.S. Gymnastics Challenge begins June 30th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Brandy Johnson against Margaret Hewlett, Lance Ringnauld against Kyle Asano. Again, all of those gymnasts have already won once in the first round. Bart Connor, as usual, it was a pleasure working with you. I'm Leandra Riley. So long, everyone. We'll see you in the second round of the 1989 U.S. Gymnastics Challenge. Feature the best gymnasts in the USA.